Over a 2-year period, IRS agents fired their guns accidentally more times than they did intentionally.
End of quote. Repeat the line.
Over a 2-year period, IRS agents fired their guns accidentally more times than they did intentionally, some of which may have resulted in property damage or personal injury. Accidents are supposed to be reported to the National Criminal Investigation Training Academy. However, more than 1/3 of these were not properly reported. That's according to an audit from the Treasury Inspector General for the Tax Administration, which additionally reveals that agents who accidentally fired their guns did not receive any special follow-up training. So what training do they receive? Quote, special agents for the IRS are required to have handgun training 4 times a year, shoot a minimum of 75% on a qualifying test, participate in firearms building entry exercises, and attend briefings on safety and how to shoot a gun from a moving vehicle. I'm sorry, did they say shoot a gun from a moving vehicle? With all this information, just how did our legislators respond? Well, they passed the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, which allots $80 billion to the IRS, a 6-fold increase of their current budget, with more than half of that earmarked for enforcement. A 2018 report published by the Government Accountability Office states that by the end of 2017, the IRS had amassed nearly 4,500 guns and more than 5 million rounds of ammo. In fact, between 2010 and 2017, the IRS spent on average $675,000 a year on ammunition. But wait, there's more! It appears that they've accelerated their spending spree recently. In just the second quarter of 2022, the IRS purchased another $700,000 of ammo. It's almost like they know something that we don't. Considering that the majority of lawmakers in Congress are millionaires, one might think that they would be a little weary of a beefed-up IRS coming after them. But it doesn't take more than a quick consult with the Google gods to find out that the National Treasury Employees Union, the second largest federal government workers union, 150,000 members strong, which includes the IRS as well as 33 other government departments and agencies, donates almost exclusively to the Democratic Party. Members of the NTEU pay dues ranging from $16 to $23 per biweekly pay period. With almost half of its 150,000 members, 70,000 belong to the IRS. Adding another 87,000 members will result in an additional $33 to $47.9 million in dues, according to an article on ATR.org. A detailed article on InfluenceWatch.org states that the Treasury Employees PAC, the union's political action committee, regularly contributes tens of thousands of dollars to Democratic senatorial and congressional campaign committees. So regularly, in fact, that these donations total 97.04% of all the PAC's donations. Well, that makes for a bit of a symbiotic relationship now, doesn't it? And speaking of the National Treasury Employees Union, members spent over 350,000 hours on union matters in 2019. The cost to us taxpayers totals over $17 million. That's a hell of a lot of hours that presumably could have spent maybe answering phones, and it shows. According to the Taxpayer Advocate Services, each year the IRS hangs up on millions of callers. It's a practice that they adorably refer to as courtesy disconnects. As it turns out, you have a 1 in 50 chance of reaching a live human on the phone at the IRS. 1 in 50 also happen to be your odds of meeting the requirements for Mensa. A quote from Americans for Tax Reform: IRS agents spend thousands of hours serving union bosses, but they can't be bothered to change the ink cartridges on agency printers and copiers. Our recent Treasury Inspector General report found that 42% of printers and copiers are not functioning, often because employees simply refuse to or do not know how to change an ink cartridge. What's that saying again? It's good enough for government work? So they've shown us their level of competence with weapons, phones, and those ever-mystifying printers and copiers. But by all means, let's give them more guns. I'll leave you with a quote from the famous gunslinging Western actor Will Rogers. The only difference between death and taxes is that death doesn't get worse every time Congress meets.